Right, hi folks. So I've been waiting for the gas inspection people. They've been and gone. It's now 25 to 1. Kind of two things are on my mind at the moment. One is about going to SHP, which I'm kind of like, because I haven't got any money on my Oyster card, so it would mean I'd have to walk there. It's a bright day. It's cold, but it's bright at least. And I'm not sure, because there's something else on my mind at the moment, and there's something I want to get off my chest for personal reasons. Now, there's a few things. It's not just, it's all related in one way or another. It's all of this is related, but as I've been waiting for these guys coming in, I've been just checking a few things out online. You know, as I say, YouTube is my main source of information these days. YouTube is my main outlet for entertainment and all the rest of it, sort of thing. Now the thing is, as I was just going through some things, you know, just looking at some of the stuff on here. Now let me just get back to where the original thing was. Hang on. Oh, sorry, no. Gone the wrong way. Right. Come on. Right, so, okay. As I was going through different things, looking at different YouTube stuff. Now this is something I've subscribed to a while back, and this is the neurobiology of addiction. There's a series of videos about that, blah 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 blah. And of course addiction is very close to my heart, because I've got my own personal experiences around it, particularly with alcohol. Anyway, in the processes of doing this, as I'm flipping through, looking at different things, first of all I come across this guy. I won't play all of it, but I came across this guy. Didn't particularly like what this guy was saying. Didn't particularly like it as like him, to be quite honest. Well, I guess I disliked him because of what he was saying, really. So you know, maybe that may be unfair. Maybe unfair. Fair enough. Whatever. But anyway, as I was listening to what this guy was saying, and again I read a few other little pieces, some of the footnotes and stuff on some of these things, and on some of the other, and some of the comments. Sorry, some of the comments I was reading. Sorry, I beg your pardon. That some people, I was getting the impression that this guy may have had an issue himself with addiction. I don't know. I'm not, you know, I have no idea, because it doesn't, you know, he doesn't say that himself. I'm just reading between the lines. Now I could be completely wrong, but from what I was reading of some people's comments and stuff, I was getting a sense that maybe this guy may have had an issue himself, may have tried certain programs and what have you, and was completely you know, what wasn't, you know, was disillusioned with it, or didn't work for him, or whatever. I don't know, and I don't know what the validity of those things are. I have no idea. In some ways, if that's true, it kind of makes sense as to why he comes across the way he does, and the things that he says about alcoholism and addiction in general. Now, some of the things I agree with what he's saying in terms of it's to do with behaviour, to do with environment, and maybe other factors as well. But you know, and again, I don't want to really get into the debate about whether it's a disease or not, because again, it's like I've said before, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. Whether you're a flipping so-called expert in the field of addiction, whether you're a psychiatrist or whatever, it's still a bloody opinion at the end of the day. You know, because none of them can agree. Do you know what I mean? And if you've got all these different experts saying, oh no, it's this or it's that, and blah, 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 whatever. Do you know what I mean? I believe in science, to be quite honest. I do. And I believe in the scientific method. And I believe in logic and reason. Do you know what I mean? Those things make a lot of sense to me. Do you know what I mean? If you can prove something beyond a shadow of a doubt with actual experimentation or whatever way you can prove it, you know, solidly, if you like. Whatever, I'm struggling to. If you can do that, then you know, fair enough. I can accept it. But even then, you know, I mean, I think I don't know if it was Carl Sagan, maybe maybe Einstein himself. I can't remember. But I've heard certain scientists have been quoted to say that. Actually, I've forgotten the quote. Never mind. It's I can't remember it exactly, but basically the premise of the thing was that you continue to have to question everything, even things that are supposedly proven in fact. The whole point is to continue to question stuff, because knowledge is fluid. It's not static. Do you know what I mean? Things change over time. We learn new things all the time. Do you know what I mean? And we're constantly progressing, hopefully, forward. And hopefully we progress to the point where we learn new stuff. So the knowledge that we have today, in 100 years' time, might prove to be completely inaccurate, and we discover a whole new bunch of things that make the knowledge we have today obsolete, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, anyway, the thing is that, like I say, I don't believe in any particular doctrine of any description, because things change, information changes all the time. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, we're discovering things, and new things come along, and new theories, and new discoveries, or whatever, blah 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 blah. I know I'm repeating myself a little bit. Anyway, so like I say, then I saw this guy, and then I found. Now where's it gone? There was another, because there's loads of stuff then pops up in terms of this addiction. Oh yeah, then I found this LSD and Bill Wilson, co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So I started watching this for a little bit. I didn't watch it all the way through, because it's basically a video recording from the 1950s of some woman being given LSD as an experiment to see what kind of effects it has. Now, I'm not going to play that necessarily. If you want to look for it yourselves, go ahead, go and look for it. Don Latin, I think, is the YouTube channel, so you can go and check that out. But just type in LSD and Bill Wilson, I'm sure you'll find it, whatever, if you want to see that. Personally, I mean, I must admit, I watched it because I was kind of curious and interested. Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be what kind of reactions this person going to have? To be perfectly honest, I found it quite boring, really, because like the lady was just, it wasn't like. And okay, again, it's that train wreck thing, isn't it? It's that, we shouldn't watch, but you can't help but watch. You know what I mean? And I must admit, I wasn't hoping, to be honest, because I don't want to see people in distress necessarily. But I must admit, a part of me was kind of like, oh, is she going to be freaking out, and is she going to be climbing the walls or something like that? I know, that's not very what's the name. But I mean, this is back in the 1950s. I mean, I don't even know if this lady's still alive. Not because of the experiment, I don't think necessarily. Well, hopefully not. But because it was the 1950s, she looks about she looks young, but I mean, so it is possible that she still could be alive, I guess. I don't know. I mean, from looking at her, it's hard to. I'm rubbish at judging people's ages anyway, but I would hazard a guess and say like late 20s, maybe a bit older, possibly. So obviously, it's obviously possible that she's still alive. She's obviously going to be a very old lady or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. Again, I'm completely going off and I'm completely going off the subject and what I'm trying to get to. So, like I say, I must admit, you could say that maybe I've got a sadistic streak. I don't think I really have. You know what I mean? Well, I think we all have to some degree. A little bit of sadistic sadism to all of us, a little bit sometimes. We are human after all, sort of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. Anyway, let's see. I'm doing it again. Anyway, the point is, yes, a part of me was kind of like, oh, I wonder if she's going to be like freaking out and going, oh, and then seeing snakes or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because I've never seen a person take LSD either watching on a video or in real life. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just heard anecdotal stories. You know what I mean? Third hand anecdotal stories of what people's experiences have been. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, again, like I said, kind of going off the track. So I watched a bit of it, and as I say, it was quite sort of mundane and boring, really. You know what I mean? She's just there going on about, oh, you see all these colours and whatever. Right. So from that, I then noticed there was some other videos then pop up all about Bill Wilson, you know, Dr. Bob, and I was going to watch that, but then I found a couple of other things, right? This one, Alcoholics Anonymous, 95% lie, yeah, right? So, thought, okay. Now you see, the thing with me is, like I say, I go to AA, and I've done for many years. And I've always spouted all the AA stuff, you know what I mean? You know, what AA's done for me, blah, blah, blah. You know, I've fallen into the ranks and done the exact same things when I first heard on my first meeting, all the things that other people had said countless times before me, and way back to when they first started AA or whatever, do you know what I mean? So I kind of just reiterating the same things that countless people before me had said, because I'd heard it in the room said so many times. I guess you fall into that what's them of like, oh well, this must be true then, and blah 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 blah. Now, again, don't take this wrong for anyone that watches this video, right? And particularly some of my AA friends actually, who I know sometimes do watch my videos. Don't take this the wrong way. I am not having a go at AA. I am not attacking AA. I am not. This video isn't about telling people AA's crap and don't go and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. This is absolutely not the case at all. Yeah, but some of the things that people are saying on here, and again, I'm not interested in what their backgrounds are, necessarily their reason. I mean, one guy in particular, this one, I'll show you a bit of the video. I'll play a bit of the video. In particular, this guy sounds reasonable, and you know, makes a lot of sense. I identify with a lot of what he said. And for me, it's the thing is that I've been kind of thinking about this well before I even saw this video. And even maybe slightly before I did my intuitive recovery course as well. But even that's kind of, you know, doing my intuitive recovery thing has made me start to think a lot. Because the thing is, the whole point is, and I don't know how many people in AA or any of my AA friends will disagree or agree. The point is, I've just noticed the way the sun's shining on my face, it's casting all shadows all over the shop here. I don't know if that's any better or not, to be quite honest. Oh, mind you, oh yeah, oh, that's a point. Ah, do you know, I've just remembered as well. The last video I did, like this, sat in this position, I remember that the screen, because of the light coming off it and the way the camera's picking up that light, it's making my face into dark. I was quite in shadow on the what's name, so I don't want to lose the momentum of this video now, to be quite honest. I really don't. I'm going to turn this around here for a minute. Sorry, because it's just occurred to me again. I wanted to try and get the computer screen in shot as well as myself. But obviously that's going to prove rather difficult because the light from the computer is then darkening my face, and I noticed it was quite dark on that video. That 30-minute video I made, it was quite dark, so it was difficult to. Anyway, again, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take myself off. Anyway, the point is, right, that surely AA is supposed to be about being progressive. At least that's what I took it to be at first. I just assumed that AA, you know, its whole ethos and philosophy is about progression. Do you know what I mean? Progressing forward. Do you know what I mean? And not just the individual, but the whole organisation itself. You know, the thing is that in the big book, we're still relying on the doctor's opinion from 1930. I mean, it's now 2015. I'm pretty sure between 1930 and 2015, the research and the knowledge that we've gained about addiction has moved on since then. So why are we still relying on the doctor's opinion as if it's the Holy Grail, as if it's the Bible itself? You know, I'm sorry, AA, and I'm sorry to my AA friends if you completely and utterly disagree with me, but that's the actual fact of the matter. Do you know what I mean? The thing is that we're relying on an opinion from a doctor back in the 1930s. You know, I thought we were about progression. You wonder why you can't attract the young guys or the young people anymore. I mean, again, I don't know what the statistics and the take-up of AA is in these last few years, in the last 10 years or whatever. I have no idea. I've not looked into it. But, you know, from what I'm gathering from other sources of information and stuff, it sounds as if that the retention for newcomers and the retention for young people to stay within AA. Now, I'm not disputing that there isn't young people in AA. I've noticed quite a few knocking about, especially in my own group even. You know, there's quite a few young people knocking about or whatever. But I don't know what the retention rate is, and I don't know just how many of the young people are coming in, and how many young people are turned off by some of the old-fashioned, if you want to put it that way, doctrine from all that time back. You know, the thing is, we're supposed to progress. We're supposed to progress forward. Do you know what I mean? Isn't that what it's supposed to be about, in a sense? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not talking like that's the whole, what's the name? Of course not. You know, you see, the thing is that, see, you might be misinterpreting the way I'm coming across. You might be thinking I'm really anti-AA or something or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not, far from it. The reason why I'm being so passionate is because I love AA. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it has done a hell of a lot of good in this world. But I think it also has done a lot of harm as well, to be quite honest. And the point is will people accept that? Will people in AA accept that it also has faults? And will they accept the fact that, like, hang on, you know what I mean? We don't want to be classed as, you know, people are calling it a cult. People online say that AA is a cult. That's never been my experience. But, I mean, you know, you can put forward different arguments and say, like, well, isn't that part of the purpose of a cult, is to make you, give you the illusion of self-will? You know what I mean? In the sense of, like, you know, it's your choice to go to a meeting or not. Do you know what I mean? Now, again, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't even want to get into all of that, because I think that's all a red herring. It's all you know, monkey nuts to it. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. But I think it doesn't matter. It bloody well doesn't matter whether, you know, you think it's a cult, you think it's this, blah, 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 blah. No, forget all of that. You know, the thing is that, like I said, the reason why I'm passionate is because I do believe in AA, and I do believe it's done a lot of good. And I've met a lot of decent, nice people in AA. I really have. Genuinely nice, decent folk. Do you know what I mean? And to then poo-poo and dismiss the whole organisation as some sort of cult or some sort of bad thing or whatever, I don't think that's the right thing. You know what I mean? I really don't. I think, you know, because AA has done a hell of a lot of good in this world, I believe. I think it's helped out a vast amount of people over the years. You know what I mean? And giving them a decent quality of life and so forth. And that's the important thing for me. It's about helping people not have to suffer. Do you know what I mean? To alleviate people's suffering. Whether that's, you know, whether that's through AA or any other system. I'm a very open-minded person. I really am. I'm a very open-minded person. And if somebody comes along with a new idea or a new thought on something, I'm willing to look at it. I'm willing to open my mind and say, okay, maybe we perhaps need to look at it this way. Do you know what I mean? Now, I might not necessarily always agree. Do you know what I mean? And I might be thinking, I don't know if you're right, really, but, you know, but I'm still open to the idea. I'm still open to try and think, well, maybe we should try. Because for me, the ultimate goal, the ultimate thing is about trying to help people to have a better quality of life, to help people to stop suffering. You know, that, for me, regardless of bloody whether you believe the doctor's opinion, whether the doctor's opinion is right, whether this, you should be doing that, and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, but it's all... Sorry, see, I don't want to swear, but it's all bollocks at the end of the day. It's fucking bollocks. I don't give a rat's arse whether fucking Tom, Dick and Harry came up with this, that and the other, you know, if it's now proving that it's been more detrimental and harmful rather than doing good, then we need to look at it and we need to change it. You know? No, there's that big scary word, change. Woo! We're all terrified of change. I'm terrified of change. I don't like change. But the point is, you know, to help people. If we're genuine about our what we want to do in AA, if we're genuine about trying to help people, then surely we need to look at these criticisms that people level at AA, and not in a defensive way either. Do you know what I mean? Not get all defensive about it and say like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. That isn't the answer either. It's not about putting up the barriers and defending ourselves. It's about having an open and honest discussion with people. Do you know what I mean? You see, can't you see how passionate I am about it? Because I do love AA. I do love AA because I think it has done such an amazing thing in this world and helped so many people. And the thing is, this is why I'm passionate about it, and this is why, for me, I'm willing to listen to the other side of the argument. I'm willing to listen to what other people's opinions are. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, the thing is, once you stick those blinkers on, once you try and think, no, we've got it right. No, I mean, think about it. Think of how many religions in this world turn around and say, no, we're the right religion. We've got it right. It's our God. Our God's right. You know what I mean? You're wrong. Do you know what I mean? How closed is that? Do you know what I mean? That's not what life's about, as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? You know, I know I keep saying it, but I do. I love AA. I do. Do you know what I mean? And the people in it, most of the people I have ever met, I've come across in my life in AA, have been really nice, good, decent people. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is that it would be a shame that if AA didn't wake up and look at itself and say, hang on, we're getting a heck of a lot of criticisms laid at our door at the moment from various different quarters, and as an organisation, do we want to survive? Do you know what I mean? Or are we going to just, you know, keep doing it the old way and just keep chugging along until eventually it does collapse at some point? And some people have got that opinion. Some people feel that AA will not be able to survive. You know what I mean? God knows how long down into the future, whatever. You know, like I say, surely that's what it's about, progression, progressing forward. You know, the doctor's opinion was relevant back then. Do you know what I mean? It made sense then. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, now, you know, we're 2015. We need to think further on. There's a hell of a lot of research, there's a hell of a lot of progress being made into the nature of addiction and the understanding of addictions. Now again, not all of these schools of thought might be correct either. Do you know what I mean? And that's another reason why we need to look into them and look and be open to them. You know what I mean? Because the thing is that, like, you know, I'm a big believer in you take the parts and the useful stuff that's helpful to people, because like I say, the ultimate goal, the ultimate, for me at least, is to help people not to have to suffer. Do you know what I mean? And I don't give a monkey's rat's ass where that advice comes from, who supplied it, what bloody whatever. Do you know what I mean? If that helps that person to have a better quality of life, then brilliant, great. We've done something. We've done something worthwhile, something worth doing. Do you know what I mean? But all this getting into this about, oh well, you can't call this, and you know, blah blah blah. What's the point of that? How's that help anybody? You know, I know there's some people in AA that have been in and out of that organisation for years and years and years and years. And from some of the things that this guy had been saying, and again, it's not about just listening to Tom, Dick and Harry or disenfranchised people or this, that and the other. I'm listening to the words of what I feel are true. Yeah? Now, you know, again, I'm not even trying to put my own, agenda, whatever, across on this. I'm not trying to indoctrinate anybody. I just feel and think that, you know, and it's not just this guy, there's lots of other people are saying the same sort of things, you know. I'm not sure what else to say at the moment, so, but sorry about that, the chair was slipping down, it was rather annoying. I'm going to leave that in the video, I don't care. I'm not going to edit it. I ain't a videographer, and I ain't professional, and whatever, blah 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 blah. Completely going off another tact. Don't mean to. like I say, I'm not here to try and offend anybody, upset anybody, get up people's noses. It just, do you know, I have enough struggles of my own inside my own head, and you know, trying to reconcile my own issues around issues that I also feel passionate about. Do you know what I mean? And you know, so on the one hand, I'm trying to be mindful of my own issues and agendas and thoughts and values and all the rest of it. At the same time, trying to appreciate and take on board other people's ideas and so forth and what have you, sort of thing. You know, so you know, not an easy task necessarily, but you know, can we not at least? I want people to comment on this video. I want, and especially my AA friends. I'm not going. Obviously, I obviously ain't going to mention any names or anything like that, obviously, but you know, I'm sure you can comment anonymously anyway. I'm sure. I think you can on there. Anyway, the point is, please give me comments. Please give me your opinions. I might not always like what you're going to say, necessarily. You might shout me down. You might turn around and say, oh, you're talking a load of blah, 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 and I never want to speak to you again. Well, I hope that isn't the case, to be quite honest, but, you know, if that is what you're going to do, then that's obviously, there's nothing I can do about that. But, you know, please, just tell me what you think, because surely you must see what I'm trying to say. Surely you must understand that, you know, any organisation, no matter what it is and no matter what it's about, especially in the time that we're living in, particularly now, I think, more so than ever, that we need to progress, we need to move forward. You know, we can't remain stagnant. You know, we have to move forward and progress. And if there's a new school of thought in terms of how the physical aspects of addiction work or whatever it is, do you know what I mean? Then maybe another edition of the big book comes out and you don't, or maybe you do still include the doctor's opinion, but you quantify that with saying, this was an opinion back in the 1930s, this is the latest opinion from the latest experts, whatever you want to, I don't know, you know, we're supposed to be the experts, but whatever, do you know what I mean? You know, this is the latest thinking and research. This is the latest paper from Dr. So-and-so or whatever sort of thing. Maybe you include those things in there. Do you know what I mean? Get a balanced view, you know? Otherwise then you do become a cult. You do become indoctrinated. You do have dogma. You know, most people when they go into AA, well, I say most people, you know, I've heard lots of other people in AA who don't necessarily have a belief in any kind of God or whatever, blah 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 blah, and they come in and, you know, the thing is that then it's like, you know, they probably have come from the school of thought of about indoctrination and dogma, from or people come in from backgrounds of other religions, whether it's Christianity, I can't speak, I can't even say that word, Catholicism, or whatever. They come from that sort of background, and they've heard all the dogma and the what's the name and this, that, and blah blah blah. But isn't AA doing the exact same thing? Really, when you think about it, when you look at it, yeah. And again, it's about we say in the bit in the steps, don't we? We say, you know, to be fearless and and to take an honest look at ourselves. Well, it doesn't look like AA's actually doing that as an organisation. It doesn't look as though it's really honestly looking at itself. Do you know what I mean? And saying, hang on, right, what's our defaults? What's our what's those? We've obviously got some, you know. I don't know. Like I say, I love AA. I do. But I don't necessarily subscribe to all of its teachings, to all of its doctrine. Do you know what I mean? But that's just for me. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is that, you know, I don't begrudge anybody you know, if it works for them and if they need to believe in something or if they need to do it in a certain way, do you know, God bless them. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, ironically, you know, fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? If it gives them a better quality of life and it saves their life and it helps the people around them, their family, their friends and so forth, then, and like I said, God bless. Do you know what I mean? Honest to God, you know, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, because it's not from me, it's not my goddamn place to tell you what you should or shouldn't do or what you should or shouldn't believe in. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? The thing is that all I ask is that you have an open mind and trying to think about how can we best help our fellow alcoholics, not just by doing the same old, same old. Do you know what I mean? The same old rhetoric, the same old what's it? If that isn't working anymore, if that isn't helping people anymore, then maybe we need to look at it. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe I'm talking through my blinking arse. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm, you know, maybe somebody can say to me, oh, well, actually, look, here's a blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what I mean? Oh, right, okay, great, fine. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm experiencing in this last year or so, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, like I say, I think I'm running out of steam here. Well, not, you know, whatever. Anyway, sorry. So, right, I'm going to leave the video here. I don't know how long I've ranted on for. This is a real rant, isn't it? I haven't ranted like this for a long time. But, wait, no. I say I'm revising now my, I was originally going to play you a little bit of what this guy was saying, just so that I could, it would also, because like, do you know, that's the other, I think sometimes that's another reason why I struggle sometimes just doing a piece to camera like this, because the thing is, and this is for me, I would imagine most of my fellow human beings would feel the same way, that usually when you want to have any kind of discussion, any kind of, it's usually helpful if you have another human being with you to bounce back off on. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, you kind of run out of steam, because like there's a load of stuff, but unless you have somebody to throw something back at you, and I don't necessarily mean in an insulting way or what's that, I mean just somebody, you know, you putting your stuff forward, they either agree with you or and then bolster your argument or your whatever, or they disagree with your argument but then help you to see something that you didn't see, you know, and think about something that you didn't think about, because that's why I love the Young Turks. And I know again it seems I've gone right onto a different tangent. What the hell are you talking about? Hey, what? You know, the thing is that they are progressives, and I love the discourse that they have between each other when they're talking about a particular news item that comes up, and then they'll, you know, some will agree with the other person, some will disagree, but they do it in a way that's productive, and you understand that they're not doing it as like they hate each other or whatever. Well, you know, again, in terms of their personal relationships and interactions with each other, obviously I can only guesstimate and speculate on that necessarily, but it seems from what I can see that, you know, they basically just have informative discussions with each other. Do you know what I mean? And learn from each other, hopefully. And so, like, to have another human being, sort of like, you know, like I say, you know, come back to you on stuff. For me at least, it helps me then to reframe the arguments I'm trying to make, helps me to reframe things, helps me to perhaps better understand, because it's all well and good me waffling on here. Do you know what I mean? The thing is that I'm at a disadvantage of the fact that I'm stuck in my own head here, and I can't pop out of here and just go on somebody else's head and just get, you know, see what's in their head, and it's kind of like, oh right, so I hadn't thought of that before. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of stuck in this head here because, like, you know, that's me. Obviously, that's the way, the nature of what we are. But the point is that to have somebody then to be able to feed back to me is a lot more intuitive and easier. That's why I was thinking of playing some of this guy's stuff, because I was thinking that that will help me to re-listen to what he's saying and then help me think about what's going on in my own head. And, you know, do I agree with what he's saying? Do I disagree? Is that right? Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So, anyway, but then I started thinking, like, well, again, I don't want this video to come across as if I'm trying to preach some kind of, I don't know, you know, we got to do it this way, or this, that and the other, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? This is my little soapbox. I'm just having my little rant. I'm saying what I feel I need to say to get it off my chest and what have you, sort of thing. This is my way of doing it at the moment. Maybe I might go and speak to another fellow A.A. about this stuff at some point. Maybe, I don't know. Because, I mean, isn't that telling? Don't you think that's telling that I would be quite reluctant to have a discussion like this with a fellow A.A.? Depending on the AA person themselves, actually, to be honest. There are some people that I feel I could approach on this, and they would be open-minded and would sort of like, okay, and they would listen or whatever, and they might come back with a counter-argument or whatever. They might not. They might kind of go, oh yeah, God, you know what, maybe you're right, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know, again, it's not about whether I'm right or not. Do you know what I mean? Like I've said countless times in this video, it's about trying to help people who suffer from whatever, whichever way you want to put it, with addiction issues. And again, I'm not interested in whether one psychologist says, oh, it's because of this, or another flipping pseudo what's the name says it's that, or it's this, or da-da-da. I'm not interested. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they've got some validity to what they're saying, maybe not. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, I want to know how best to help that person. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately it's that person, that human being in front of me that's suffering, and you know, I don't want absolutes, because there are no absolutes. Do you know what I mean? Apart from maybe death and taxes, as they say. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, there are no absolutes. You know what I mean? You can't say this is absolutely 100%, this is the right way. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody can say that, because human beings are so diverse, so complex. You know, what works for one person doesn't work for another. You know what I mean? So, you know, you've got to be open up to other ideas, and not begrudge other people's. You know, if they find a way of doing it and it's not the AA way, or it's whatever, do you know what I mean? Because I must admit, even that intuitive recovery, what I found, well, again, I don't want to, it's not about disparaging people, it's not about trying to knock people, but I did feel that that trainer was a little bit kind of like, almost reminded me of somebody that's just come into AA. And as you know, first discovered AA, and he's on that pink cloud, and he's, do you know what I mean? He's shouting from the rooftops about how the sun shines out of AA's ass. Do you know what I mean? And she reminded me very much of that, in that sense, that, you know, the way she was coming across, and you know, oh, this, I don't know if, and again, I don't want to put words in people's mouths, and I'm not trying to, because I really, really like this person, do you know what I mean, and I'm not trying to knock this person at all. I'm just trying to explain and have my opinion and my sense of how I experienced that person in a set, at times, not all the time, but at times, at certain points where it felt very much like, we've got the absolute solution, nobody else has, this is the way forward, everything else is just a waste of time, sort of thing. That's kind of how it felt a little bit at times. And again, that's not me, that's not what I'm into. Do you know what I mean? I'm into what works for that particular person, and I'm open to other, I don't begrudge other people. It's like, I know people in AA who have never had a sponsor, who have never done the steps. But they're years sober, and again, I'm not about these people. Oh, they're a drunk, dry drunk. Oh, they have to do this, otherwise they will drink again. Do you know what? That person's got a decent quality of life compared to what they've had before. And if they're having a very productive life and they've become a productive member of society, the fact that they've never had a sponsor, the fact that they've never done the steps, to me is completely and totally, utterly irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? It completely makes absolutely no difference. If that person has got a happy, productive, healthy life, then God bless them. Do you know what I mean? Why the hell should then somebody come along and say, no, 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 you have to do that, otherwise you're not doing it right, or you're not doing the proper step, or you're not doing the what's name. No, sorry, stuff that. That person's life is fine, and if they're happy with their life, and the people around them are happy, do you know what I mean, then far be it from me to stick my bleeding nose in. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't dream of doing that anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's just not me. But, oh, for God's sake, sorry. Oh, great, the computer's decided to go on the blink. Anyway, right. Why have you turned off? Right, sorry, beg your pardon. This computer decided it wanted to do its own thing. It was fed up of being ignored. See, even computers have a mind of their own. They're saying, I've had enough. You know, you keep ignoring me. You just talk to that bloody camera. You think more of that camera, you think of me. Right, I'll show you. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to sleep. Sorry. Alright, I know, I'm just messing. Just messing. Right, anyway. Right, this must have been going on for I don't know how long. 40 minutes? Maybe half an hour. Right, I'm going to put this up now. And I'm going to be interested to see what comes back. If anything. I might not get anything back. It's like, sometimes it's like being in a ghost town or something. You know, I put my videos up and, you know, I might get 7-8 views or whatever. Very rarely get any comments. You know, the thing is, funny enough, you know, when I think about it, at this moment in time, I might be sort of bemoaning the fact that, like, oh, I haven't got a lot of viewers and I haven't got a lot of comments and, you know what I mean, I'm not getting lots of views or whatever, But then, just imagine, for instance, the reverse happened, just for argument's sake. I'd probably be moaning about that then. Do you know what I mean? I'd be going, oh my God, all these bloody comments, I can't cope with it. Oh God, we're never happy, are we? Never satisfied. Right. Okay. I'm going to leave it here. So, I don't know, make of this what you will. Like I say, this is just my personal opinions, my personal views. I feel quite passionate about them because I'm passionate about AA, because it has done a lot for me, I feel, and has helped me a hell of a lot in lots of different ways. But I don't think I should necessarily then be beholden to AA because of that. Because again, surely isn't that the message? Again, when you look through the rooms and you hear, the message is that people do things not because they want something back, but because they want to help somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Just because they want to help someone, you know? And so I hope that my feelings towards AA and my sense of admiration and my love for AA is not dependent upon what I then have to give back to it. Do you know what I mean? I do give back to it in small ways. You know, I do my bit of service on my. Say, okay, and again, fair enough. I hold my hands up. I know I missed last week again. I was very tired again because I'm going to bed at silly hour o'clock, and that's my fault, and I take full responsibility for that. And I'm really apologise to any of my AA friends who are watching this. I don't know how many. I know one person. Because he's told me before that he's watched the colour. I don't know how often he does, whether he does it on a regular basis or not, I don't know. I have no idea. He's never said. But on the chance, or the off chance, because I put this on all my social media, I put this on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, and on my Twitter account. So these videos go on all of those formats, all of those platforms, if you like. So the thing is that I've forgotten what I was going. What the hell was I saying? Sorry. That's because I'm trying to think of half a dozen things at the same time. What was I saying? Something about my friend watching. Do you know, the more I try to remember, the more I end up forgetting. Anyway, sorry, that's it's there in the background. I'm slowly losing the thread of what I was trying to say, and if I try to remember it now, I'm gonna forget it. Yeah, so this has just been my little rant and rave about, let's say, you know, something that's close to my heart and something I'm passionate about addiction in general, alcohol in specifically, because obviously I'm in AA and Alcoholics Anonymous, and the fact that, you know, it is getting a lot of criticism these days, more and more, and there's lots of chinks appearing, lots of different things that are coming out that maybe the vast majority of people in AA aren't even aware of, that comes back from the origins of AA and stuff like that, and things that we weren't aware of and made aware of. You know, there's a famous thing where they say that history is written by the winners, you know. Now, again, I'm not trying to, you know, because the point is, again, like I said, you know, please bear with me and understand that Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob were no more special or different than any of us and the rest of us within the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. But in some ways, and I'm as guilty as the next person for doing it to a little bit, of putting them on that sort of pedestal and putting them there as some sort of like, oh, you know what I mean, sort of thing. Yes, they did an amazing thing, but, you know, the thing is, what's to stop somebody today, for instance, two people getting together today, two addicts, whether they be alcoholic or drug addicts or whatever, two people today get together and decide and come up with something completely radically different or new or whatever, and decide, oh, you know, this is what we do, and to try and help other alcoholics or whatever. How would they be received? How would they, in this day and age, how would they, what would be the kickback on them, if any? You know, would they be welcomed with open arms by all the other organisations, whether it be AA or any other organisation, or would they be renounced and denounced as heretics or whatever, and no, there's only one way, and that's Bill and Dr. Bob's way, and da-da-da, and blah, blah. You know, think about that. Think about it. If two alcoholics got together one day and said, you know what, that AA thing didn't really work for me, and it didn't work for me either, but, you know, it's got some good stuff, but, you know, and they're not necessarily setting out to you know, do any what's known to AA whatsoever, but decide they want to set up something completely different themselves, and something they've discovered themselves that is really useful and helpful, and they go out there and they set it up, and you know, it gets up and running, and people start to, you know, come to that way of thinking or whatever, blah blah blah. How would they then be received? Do you know what I mean? Would it be perceived as like, no, they're just heretics, they just don't know what they're talking about, or they're just disenfranchised, they're just disillusioned AAists or whatever, blah 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 blah. You know, makes me wonder, you know, because yeah, Bill and Bob did a great thing, absolutely, and you know, I think it was really relevant, particularly in their time. You know what I mean? Yes, of course, in some ways, you know, it's still obviously very relevant today, but the thing is, I said before, it's about that progression. It's about moving forward. It's about looking at new ideas and new thoughts around, and the thinking in terms of addiction and stuff. You know, anyway, like I say, I'm going to lose myself in a conversation with myself, essentially, and getting caught up in my own, end up like a dog chasing its tail and going round and round in circles. Right, so, sorry, excuse me. Right, okay guys, so, like I said, make of this what you will. I don't know how to finish this video. Okay, I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.